Ladies and gentlemen, it would appear while I was distracted for a few days that they released a patch for the Diablo 3 PTR for patch 1.0.7. This patch, much to my surprise, actually contains quite a bit of tweaking to the new systems they've included, which includes the demonic essence and the new recipes that will be dropping. For one, the new crafting agent, demonic essence, has now been added to the boss drop tables, so it's not just elite monsters, and now you have more reasons to fight bosses yet again. Also, because of the system that they added last patch where you can get stacks of Nephilim Valor for completing certain events, they've decided to add in the ability to gain demonic essence from completing these events. It's only a chance though, not 100%. One thing that hasn't changed is that you still do not need Nephilim Valor in order to get demonic essences. However, the monster power requirements for getting the demonic essences have been changed dramatically. It used to be at monster power 0, you had a 20% chance for one of these demonic essences to drop off of elites, all the way up to a 81 or, well, 80.9, whatever, % chance for them to drop at monster power 10. Now, they have nerfed this. Now the nerf is not that high at lower monster power levels. As a matter of fact, at monster power 0, instead of being a 20%, it's only 15%. At monster power 1, instead of being 23%, it's 16.5%. So at lower monster powers, you're not going to be affected. However, monster power 10, which was originally 81%, is now down to 38.9%. This means that the demonic essence drop rate for high levels of monster power have been slashed by half. So what this change does is normalize the amount of demonic essence you're going to see in your game. And it's going to make it so that you can pretty much pick whatever monster power you want. And really what's going to happen here is the people that already have efficient farming routes on mid-range monster powers are not really going to be affected by this change too much. Because the faster you can kill elites, the faster you're going to get these demonic essences. So really what they've done is just make it like anything else that you use monster power for. And so you shouldn't really be using monster power for just farming the essences. This seems fine simply because farming the essences should not be the major chore. You should still be looking for other items as well. Now there is another part of this system that's been changed. The crafting recipes that use the demonic essences have been changed. Previously, the plans that would drop off of bosses had a 50% chance to drop, as long as you had 5 stacks of Nephilim Valor. This was independent of any of the monster power levels, so you could very easily just put it on monster power 1, or just put it on monster power 0 as a matter of fact, and farm the bosses very quickly to get all the patterns that you wanted. So what they've done is they've put the plans into the system the same way that demonic essences are handled. You will still need to have 5 stacks of Nephilim Valor in order to get the plans, but now the chances have changed. At monster power 0, you have a 20% chance, all the way up to the 88.2% chance at monster power 10. So it looks like the old values, or at least very close to the old values of the demonic essence drops, have now been given to the bosses for dropping the plans. So if you really want to try and get all the plans, you're probably going to have to up your monster power, at the very least until you get the plans that you want or the plans you intend to sell, and then you can put it back to whatever you want. Now, some of you may actually be rolling your eyes and saying, well, who really cares, because some of these items really weren't rolling that great to begin with. And it's true, for some of the items, the primary stats they could roll were kind of low. So what they've done is they've increased the values for some of them. For example, Archon Spalders, the Dexterity, Intelligence, and Vitality can roll from 201 to 230, up from the previous 100 to 115, so they've doubled the amount that will roll. The Strength could already roll in that range, so that's remained unchanged. For the Gauntlets, Strength and Vitality will roll 201 to 230, up from the 100 to 115. Again, Dexterity and Int could roll in that range already. So basically what they've done is made it so all the primary stats will roll in the 201 to 230 range, like it pretty much was intended, it seems. Because I think they really weren't planning on giving you these items where you could choose your primary stat and that stat be so low. So now you have a chance of getting a higher main stat item on the items that you want. Each of these items only really requires one demonic essence, so as you can tell, that while they may not roll the way you want, you should have plenty of chances to make more. They did make a slight change to the recipes as well. The Archon gloves used to take 50 exquisite essences, they now take 20 iridescent tears, and the razor spikes used to take 25 iridescent tears, now take 30 exquisite essence. But there has been one additional change that's going to make this demonic essence thing a little more important, especially if you have a lot of gold to spend and a lot of high-powered gems. The marquee gems have changed in their requirements. They still take 3 radiant stars. They still take 20 million gold. But they now take 10 demonic essences rather than 1. In addition to these jewels, something fantastic has happened that I mentioned that I hoped would happen, and that is that rubies will be getting a buff, not across the board, but up from the star rubies and square rubies. So basically, square, star, flawless star, perfect star, radiant star have all had their minimum maximum damage changed and increased to make them more viable. Since we're talking about items, I thought I'd go ahead and show you a couple changes that have happened to items just recently. One is Hellfire rings. They will salvage into legendary crafting materials. As you can see here, I got 2 tears and 1 fiery brimstone. This one is not terribly important unless you're a master of style. I'd like to show you what you can do to your legendary equipment. You can take this Vanishing Dye, pay close attention to my chest. Hey look, it's gone now. In fact, let's go ahead and do it to another. I'll put the Vanishing Dye on and boom! No longer a legendary equipped on my person. Of course, this means you can also use the All Soap's Miraculous Dye Remover to get back the look if you want. Unfortunately, even though this change does allow you to get rid of legendary items now, you still can't change their color. It will still tell you it can't be dyed. But hey, this is a step in the right direction for people that didn't like the look of some of their legendary items. Aside from crafting, Blizzard has seen fit to give the monks some additional love. It looks like Wave of Light just wasn't doing enough damage. Yes, that's right. Wave of Light has had the follow-up weapon damage increase from 390 to 829. Wave of Light is now a massive damage dealer, and each rune that adds damage to the additional weapon damage has been increased as well. So this will be interesting to see if Wave of Light opens up for some monks as a possible spender. Another change here for you monks is that the cyclones that you generate from Sweeping Wind should now travel roughly in the same direction that you're facing rather than have them go all over the place. Whether or not this is going to be a change that is really important or not, I couldn't really tell. I'd be interested to see what you monks think. It seems like it might make facing requirements a little more something to pay attention to. For those of you who like to PvP, you may have heard me say in the past that I thought damage levels might be a bit too high currently, and that some damage reduction against players might be required. Looks like Blizzard has saw heed to that. Demon Hunters, Witch Doctors, Wizards now all receive a 30% damage reduction while you're in the Scorched Chapel, which is the PvP zone. Barbarian and Monks will get 35%, so they have a 5% advantage simply for the fact that they have to get close to their targets. It would appear that there are still some bugs with the PvP system, as it seems like people will disappear at random based on where you stand. So you see there's someone here, but if I just move slightly, they disappear. So there's definitely still some bugs left with this build as far as PvP is concerned, but of course, it is just a distraction, it would seem, for now. But they will definitely want to get this cleaned up as they go forward. Alright, and lastly here, we can see the new reflex damage animation that will play on top of a monster when he's got it up. Here, there we go, there it is. You can see it's a lot more vibrant, actually. Seems a little easier to see, and it's definitely more interesting. I think it's a little better than just the plain sword sticking out, so I like this one. I think hopefully this one will stay. It's looking pretty good. The polish stage has been achieved here at this point with this patch, which means this patch shouldn't be too much longer until it's released into the wild. And since I haven't shown it yet, there it is, the glow for the legendary, but not just the glow. In the upper right hand corner you can see that there is an icon on my map that will show me at all times where this legendary is that is dropped for me. So if I didn't quite catch it, I will always know it's there. So there is minimal chance that you will miss out on your legendary items. Now, here's the downside. As you can see, it does not show up off the edge of the map. So if you have moved on beyond that area, then the legendary will not show up. If I go up to the big map, however, you can see that there it is. It will show up always on the big map, but it will not show up on the edges of the mini-map. So if there's ever any doubt, ever any question that you missed a legendary item while you were playing, simply bring up your map, and there it is. The lovely star to let you know, to lead the way, to guide the way back home. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been a brief overview of the patch update for PTR 107 for Diablo 3. This information came out just a few days ago, honestly, just before, I think, February 1st. So there you have it. I'll see you next time.